right. Good morning and Happy New Year. The January 8th, 2020 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. In the interest of promoting the order and efficiency of these hearings, persons who are disruptive to the hearing will be asked to leave the hearing room. Meetings of the Board of Estimates are open to the public for the duration of the meeting. The hearing room must be vacated at the conclusion of the meeting. Failure to comply may result in a charge of trespassing. Madam Deputy Comptroller, are there any corrections, additions, or deferrals on the agenda?
Good morning. For today's meeting, the board received a protest from Ms. Kim Trueheart for pages 18 to 19, item number 12. That item will be moved to the non-routine agenda. There are no corrections or changes to the agenda other than the protest. I have the following abstentions to report. The Honorable Mayor Young will abstain on page 33, pages 76 to 78, item number 2, and page 81 to 82. The Honorable President Scott will abstain on page 33, pages 53 to 54, pages 76 to 78, item number 2, and pages 81 to 82. The Honorable Comptroller Pratt will abstain on pages 76 to 78, item number 2. Mr. President, members of the board, that is the one protest received, as well as the abstentions that have been reported thus far. The only item on the non-routine agenda is pages 18 to 19, item number 12. Thank you.
Thank you. I will direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from my office dated January 6, 2020, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items together with any corrections and additions that have been noted by the Deputy Comptroller. I will entertain a motion to approve all of the items contained on the routine agenda.
I move approval, Mr. President.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion carried. The routine agenda items have been adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda can be found on pages 18 to 19, informal awards, renewal, increases to contracts and extensions. Item 12, contract number 6,000, invasive plant removal for Druid Lake and Ashburton reservoirs. Will the parties please come forward? Good morning.
Good morning. Erin Sher-Smith, City Purchasing Agent for the Department of Finance. I'm asking that the board reject this protest and award to Lorenz as requested. I do appreciate the concerns that Ms. Trueheart has brought up regarding availability of jobs for youth and low-skilled citizens of Baltimore. However, this is a rather difficult and complicated job. It's a one-time clean-out of invasive species of two of our drinking water reservoirs. And DPW can speak more to the technical details, but I do feel that this is not an appropriate project to set aside for youth work. Thank you very much. Introduce yourself first.
Yes, hi, I'm Travis Minot, Assistant
You can
Manager.
pull the mic up. Pull it up.
Sorry.
There you go.
Travis Minot, Assistant Manager with the Department of Public Works. The job at hand is to clear out the invasive species that surround Druid Lake and Ashburton Lake. Those are two drinking water reservoirs. What we'd like to do is to have all of the vines, small trees, and other invasive species that are in that area removed completely by the roots. It's going to involve chainsaws, it's going to involve cutting, it's going to involve a lot of walking on sloped hills. We would like to get everything out so that we're only dealing with grass and having just regular lawn service done. And our concern is safety. It should be done in the winter before the items have grown back. And we would like to have it done before the spring. And we're also looking at getting everything out so that all we have to do is cut grass around those. We also have to make sure that none of the vegetation gets into the water because it is drinking water. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Trueheart.
Good morning. My name is Kim Trueheart. I love this city. Born and raised here almost 63 years ago. As you know, in October, I started a pilot program called the Be More Clean and Green pilot. Thankfully, it was funded by the mayor of Baltimore City. It allowed me to take 10 young men off the corners who were squeegeeing, to enroll them in a 5-week program where we taught them to mow, cut, and clean city property. They received OSHA safety certification to ensure that they were operating within the safety confines of the federal regulation. They additionally got certified. The program also provided them with CPR, first aid, and AED training, and they got certified. Safety is a definite important aspect of this work. I am sort of offended when we are told that the work is complex. Our young men can do complex work if given the opportunity. There are training options that are available to them. One of the things that I hearken to throw out is, of my 30 years of federal government employment, I managed programs. And one of the things that was consistently coming up was the lack of credible vendors and sources for the services that the government wanted. And we, in the Navy, developed a business development program where, in instances where there was only one or no sources for what the government wanted, we cultivated new businesses, in particular minority businesses, to engage in the work that the federal government needed done. I don't see Baltimore City doing that. There is a strong need for that. A few years ago, I participated as a citizen in the rewrite of the minority business law here in Baltimore. One of the elements that I insisted go in the rewrite of that law was when there was only one or limited sources available to provide the service the city needed, the small business office needed to engage. The small business office needed to help develop new business sources to do this work. I don't see us doing that. I am offended by this contract just going to one vendor who is not necessarily going to hire the young men who I am most passionate about right now. I have graduated from my pilot program 8 young men. We started off with 10. 2 of them I could not continue in the program because of their behavior, but I haven't given up on them. They are still engaging with me. As of this moment, the 8 young men who graduated, who have their OSHA safety certification and their CPR certification, are applying for low-level entry jobs across this government. I have every expectation in the next couple of weeks that we will be able to come back and tell you that they have full-time jobs, right? I am begging them not to go back on the corners, but I don't have any more money in my program to pay them, right? But they are motivated. They need jobs. They need these kinds of opportunities. And I am begging you, you hear me? Begging you at 63 years of age to allow me to help these young men get off the corners. The amazing thing is that the background and rationale for this procurement says, because of the overwhelming citizen complaints about the overgrown conditions at both reservoirs, you feel this contract is needed. What about the overwhelming number of complaints about squeegee workers on the corners? When are you going to put money, sustainable money, behind helping those young men find work? There are employers in this city. There's the University of
I'm going to ask you to
Maryland.
wrap up because I know we have questions.
The University of Maryland Master Gardeners are available. I engage with an organization called the American Landscape Institute to teach these young men about landscaping, right? There is a college curriculum set up for that these young men are, in some instances, applying to. There are opportunities here that this procurement just misses completely. And I think the city needs to set up a development training workforce program. Every agency in this city has come to me and said, Ms. Trueheart, we want to see if we can hire these young men. Help us.
Thank you.
I had a question. My name's Kim Letke. I own a company called Letke Security Contractors. His complaint or concern is time is of essence to get this done as soon as quickly as possible. Letke will donate $5,000 to Kim's group to come out and weed whack. I have a landscaping company. I'm planting 314,000 trees. We do a lot of state full service contracts. We'll donate $5,000 to pay Kim's people to come out and weed whack. In addition, since he cannot find other people, that's simply not acceptable to say that you cannot find minority young men to work. That's simply unacceptable to hear from you or any government agency. It's just not right. So at the end of the day, you need to sit down and work with me and Kim, and we will donate the money to pay the guys to work, and we will give them the tools and facilities and a foreman to manage these 8 guys that Kim has. So we'd like to postpone this and give us at least 2 or 3 days to work this out.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions, and then I know both the mayor and the comptroller have questions too. So for DPW, because you guys do a lot of these kind of contracts,
Yes.
can you tell me how you guys are proactively, because we talked about this over the summertime with you, how you're proactively looking for opportunities in contracts to award organizations who are doing work like Ms. Trueheart is doing, so that we are making sure that young people in the city where their opportunities arise, that they are benefiting, and organizations who are hiring them are benefiting from the contracts instead of the contracts continuously going to the same individuals?
The Lorenz is a contractor that we have used for, I would say, the last 6 years. They've been mowing and cutting all of our water facilities. We just renewed a contract with them for another 3 years because of the work we've gotten from them. We did ask other vendors to submit a bid on this particular job because it's not in the scope of Lorenz's current contract. None of the vendors that I met with refused to get a quote.
I hear you, but that's not the question that I'm asking. I'm asking, how is DPW proactively seeking out, when you're putting out your contracts, seeking out organizations that are hiring young people, young men from Baltimore City, young women from Baltimore City in their work, right? When you were talking to Lorenz about this contract or any other contractor that DPW is hiring for this kind of work, right, landscaping work, are you asking them, how many people are young people from the city are you employing? Or is there a way for you to hire young people to do this? Are these the kind of questions that you're asking the organization when they come forward?
I don't, as a member of DPW, I don't ask those questions. Those are asked by procurement. And I see that language in all of the contracts that we put out. We in DPW don't necessarily, solicit the business. We usually get recommendations from procurement, but every contract that I've seen has that language written in it.
So for this one, then, do you know how many Lorenz employs?
How many Lorenz employees?
Yeah. How many they employ? If it's in the contract, do you know?
No, I don't know how many.
Ms. Chair, do you want to talk about that and how you guys are doing that?
Well, what I'd like to talk about is how, when this one-time issue came up, as I said...
That's not the question. The question is how you guys are proactively seeking out organizations. We talked about that this summer. The three of us talked about this summer when we had another issue with Ms. Trueheart and some other folks about how we want you guys to proactively look for organizations, businesses in Baltimore that are hiring young people.
So, and I feel like my answer will address that. So in this case, you know, I looked at the scope and I didn't think it was appropriate for youth, and I still don't feel that it's appropriate. And I understand that a company may be able to hire one or two and train them, but the job is complex. And what we did is DPW had identified local contractors that could do landscaping, so that when we look at the abandoned lot programs, the cleaning and the mowing, that we are more proactively going for those landscapers that are in those neighborhoods. And that's the list that I pulled from to recommend to DPW, that these are landscapers in the neighborhood around Druid Hill and Ashburton, and to reach out to them, and none of them were interested. And in fact, the one who showed up to look at it said they were unable to do it because of the complexities, and they recommended bringing a much larger contractor in. So that was the effort, to identify those that were actually neighborhood landscapers that would be able to work on these projects in the neighborhood, and we were unable to get any.
So I wanna push back a little bit. So, is there anything in law that says, you know, in Baltimore we say youth right up to 21 or 24 in some instances, that precludes them from working on this project? For example, when I was 14 years old as a HVAC apprentice, I worked on helping to put air conditioners in the new Lexington Terrace project. Had to wear a hard hat every day. No one said that work was too unsafe for me to do, right? Because by law, I could be there. Is there anything by law that says that young people can't be on this project or this job or this
Not to
kind
my
of work?
knowledge, no.
Thank you.
And
Madam
our
Comptroller.
young men are
Ms.
up
Kim,
to
hold on.
24.
Yeah, Ms. Kim.
Right, I got an email from you that says that this project will require equipment. What type of equipment does it require that Ms. Trueheart's
So
youth can?
There will be excavating required to dig out the roots. These invasive species have roots that need to be removed. It is not merely like weed whacking or lawn cutting. It requires chainsaws and additional equipment. And I can actually let DPW answer that more, but this is much more of a, it's a more difficult job than would other landscaping jobs in the city would be.
Can I hear from Kim, because
Certainly. So I'm doing 113 acres right now, and we move invasive species. In order to get to the tree, we can give these youth a skill set. We can teach them a skill set to use a weed whacker to get to the root. They can get around the chains. We can make a compromise here where you have Lorenz do a section of the heavy duty work. You know, in every construction site, you have different skill sets. And in this skill set that these guys can do, they can do the weed whacking and access to that stump, but you can't just eliminate them and say they have nothing that they can do. It's simply not acceptable. They can weed whack, they can help the excavator can come in, Lorenz can do their section, but you got to give these guys a skill set. You have to give them access and availability, and you can't lock them out. It's simply unacceptable. But the deal is, we can teach them something. We can give them something to do.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm of the opinion, looking at these guys in the back of us, that they probably can do this work. The president talked about when he was young. I can talk about when I was doing extermination and I had no certification, working for, at the time they called it Neighborhood Youth Works, which is now, just Youth Works. And there was no stipulation that I could not go in and do that job. And I've asked, since I've been sitting in this seat, and long before I've been sitting in this seat, that we look at our contracts, and as many contracts as we can have young people participating on, that's what we want. We talk about our youth out here doing all these bad things, but yet when opportunities come where we can help by employing them, we shut the door down and talk about heavy equipment and all this kind of stuff. Looking at them guys back there, I'm quite sure they can do that work.
Thanks.
So what I would recommend is that we postpone passing this until you guys can get together and come up with some kind of solution, because I believe that on this contract is some things that they can do.
Mr. Mayor, the comptroller and I were just discussing that, so we would move to defer this item.
I so move, Mr. President.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed, the item will be deferred.
Thank you.
As there's no, for 2 weeks, 2-week deferral. Madam Comptroller?
Yes, I would just, Mr. President, like to address the 2020 loan authorization program on page 88 of the agenda. The loan authorization includes $38 million in general obligation bond for Baltimore City Public Schools Capital Improvement Program. Later this week, our partners in the city legislative delegation who must approve the 2020 loan authorization program will begin their discussions in Annapolis on how to fund the recommendations proposed by the Kerwin Commission on Innovation and Excellence in Education. Improving public education in Baltimore City is one of the most important issues for us as elected leaders this year or any year. Our children deserve modern, updated facilities where they can get a world-class education. The $38 million we approved this morning is a tangible sign of the city's commitment to our students. It will help pay for renovations and expansions at the Maury G. Faring Elementary School and Armistead Gardens Elementary School that will ease overcrowding and provide state-of-the-art learning environments. It will also help fund air conditioning, fire safety, and healthy school facility projects around the city. As we continue to work with our partners at the state level to find ways to fund the Kerwin Commission recommendations, I strongly support the loan authorization and the investment it represents in our students and our future. I look forward to the city delegation and the voters approving it later this year. Thank you.
Thank you. As there's no more business before the board, we will recess until bid opening at 12 noon.
We're ready
Okay.
for bid opening.
Good afternoon. The Board of Estimates is now in session for the receiving and opening of bids. In the interest of promoting the order and efficiency of these proceedings, persons who are disruptive to the meeting will be asked to leave the boardroom. Meetings of the Board of Estimates are open to the public for the duration of the meeting. The boardroom must be vacated at the conclusion of the meeting. Failure to comply may result in a charge of trespassing. I have the following addendum to note. Department of Public Works, storm drain contract number 7778, drainage repairs and improvements at various locations.
The addendum is approved.
The
Madam Comptroller, I apologize.
Yes, it will be open on January the 15th, 2020.
The board so orders.
The first item is from Department of General Services, GS 19801, Police Headquarters and Annex Elevator Upgrade and Modernization with a bid bond. The bidder is Nichols Contracting, Inc. with a bid bond. The total dollar amount is $3,026,995. $3,026,995. The next bidder is Chilmar Corporation. With a bid bond. Total dollar amount, $3,288,000. That's $3,288,000. The next bidder is W.M. Slosser Company, Inc. with a bid bond. Total dollar amount, $3,488,000. $3,488,000.
These three bids will be referred to the Department of General Services for review and evaluation.
The next item is the Bureau of Procurement, B50005974, yard contractor with a bid bond. The bidder is Beltway International LLC with a bid bond. Total dollar amount, $133,495. $133,495.
That bid will be referred to the Department of Procurement, Bureau of Procurement for evaluation.
The next item is the Bureau of Procurement, B50005976, electric vehicle with dump bid, with a 5% bid bond. The bidder is Warries Corporation
They have a check.
with a check.
Purchase a copy. Is there an original check? Some said it's a copy.
It's on the front.
Is it in there? No. Maybe this, it looks like a copy.
Like a copy, it's not the actual check.
Purchase a copy. That's a copy. Yeah, but they say original.
So where's the check? Is that,
It says original.
it says purchase a copy.
Yeah.
Where's the check? Should we refer to the law department?
Yeah, I see an original. This is a copy.
Okay, so for Warris Corporation, there appears to be a copy of a check in the amount of $3,897. And the total bid amount is $77,940. That's $77,940. And it will be referred to the law department
Yes,
to confirm where the original check is.
this bid will be referred to the Law Department for review.
The next is the Bureau of Procurement, B50005978, tilt deck boat trailer with a 5% bid bond. No bids were received.
No bids on this? No bids. So ordered.
The next item is from the Bureau of Procurement, B50005979, hook lift roll-off trucks with a 5% bid bond. The bidder is Transtech Inc., doing business as Freightliner of Elkton. With a bid bond. Total dollar amount is $576,879. $576,879. The next bidder is Waste Equipment Sales and Service LLC with a bid bond. Total dollar amount, $574,995. $574,995.
These bids are referred to Bureau of Procurement for review and evaluation.
The last bid is from the Bureau of Procurement, B50005980, tractor with front-end loader with a 5% bid bond. The bidder is Finch Services, Inc., with a check.
You said Finch Services?
Finch, mhm.
Finch Services.
Total bid amount is $217,888.36. $217,888.36.
This bid, 5980, will be referred to procurement for review and evaluation.
There being no more bids, this meeting is adjourned.
So ordered. Thank you both.